kind of sounds cliche, but it's true. There's enough opportunity for all of us to eat, to make money, to make the impact. We just need to get out of the crabs in a barrel mentality and support one another. And I'll get. So, hello everyone. My name is Brianna Régine. I am the founder as well as lead brand strategist, publicist, and business manager at Brianna Régine Visionary Consulting. We are a strategic communications and marketing agency that helps to increase the visibility as well as infrastructure, cohesiveness, engagement, and longevity of brands in the entertainment, lifestyle, and beauty spaces. And I am back for another Tuesday talk. Today's topic is about 5 lessons that we can learn from Black entrepreneurs and CEOs. All right, so the first lesson that we can learn from Black entrepreneurs and CEOs, because I kind of have a compilation here, is that if you identify a problem and you're able to solve that problem, chances are you'll also be solving the problem of other people, okay? And this was inspired by Madam C.J. Walker, who we know was a critical, influential figure in the beauty space. And she, when I was doing some research, it was very brief, but when she started to experience hair loss, that's when she started to pay attention to hair and beauty in general. And she received counsel from her brothers who were barbers, as well as, I have notes here, let me make sure I'm saying the name right, Annie Malone, who was another Black female entrepreneur in the beauty space. So that's kind of where her interest in beauty developed, and she sought out those people to help fix her problem with hair loss. Eventually, she reinvented herself and started her own business, which eventually turned into, the beauty industry that we have today. She was a substantial figure in starting that. So don't be afraid to tap into yourself first and figure out the problems that you have, find a solution, do the research that you need to do to fix your problem. And then chances are, as with many things in life, you're never going through something by yourself. There's always someone that can relate to your problem or empathize with your problem, and therefore will support and invest in your solution. So take that into consideration. The second lesson that we can learn is to don't be afraid to collaborate. Now, this tip can go, in a variety of different, turns of talk, but in terms of business specifically, don't be afraid to do your research and collaborate with people who believe in you and also you believe in them. And what inspired this lesson was Beyonce and her relaunch of Ivy Park. Initially, I believe the collaboration was with Topshop, but Ivy Park was also owned by Topshop. It wasn't until Beyonce bought Ivy Park back from Topshop and collaborated with Adidas, because she found that they are adamant about supporting her creative direction as well as her values, which align with women leadership and social responsibility. So because she did her research and because she stayed true to who she was, and because she had the coin to buy the brand back, she was able to align herself with a brand that potentially could push Ivy Park to become an international brand, which I would assume is something that she wants. And her relaunch went viral, basically. Those orange boxes were everywhere. So I think she's definitely on the right track. Taking that idea and putting it in a larger context, in general, Black business owners, Black entrepreneurs can do a better job of collaborating with one another. While I understand that it may appear the market is oversaturated, I always say that no one can do your job, no one can make the product, no one can sell the product like you, simply because you're you, okay? So with that being said, a collaboration should balance the strengths and weaknesses of the collaborators. And you are never going to you're never going to be overshadowed by someone else, provided that you can stand firmly in what it is that you offer, that you can stand firmly in your unique value. And if you are consistently doing the work, not only on a professional level, but on a personal level, that unique value is untouchable. Third lesson is, don't be afraid to pivot and match the integrity of, you know, a lifestyle that may have developed since you first started your brand. The brand that inspired this is Jerry Levine. He is a YouTuber, a Black YouTuber, and he initially started out with creating these videos that were kind of sarcastic, but also pessimistic, but funny. He used to do video collaborations with Hot Damn I Rock, which is another like actor, early Black YouTuber that significantly made an impact in like the Black YouTube space. So good to see you too. But his platform has now changed into a family channel. So I don't even think you can find his videos of him cursing and saying these crazy things. I don't think they exist anymore. Now he is purely a family channel with his wife and his 2 kids. And I think they have subset channels as well. So I say that to say this. While we may be so tied to how our dream or how our vision looks, we have to remain open-minded to how that can either evolve within the same lane of that dream or vision, or it can completely change in order to have the impact that you're meant to have. And in general, like not even from, you know, Black entrepreneurs and Black CEOs, I think that's something that everyone deals with. It can be very crushing when you realize that your vision that you thought was gonna be it changes. Everyone's reception to that is different. But especially when you put so much time and energy into it, it can be a little bit disruptive to your life. I don't want to speak for Jerry, but I imagine that actually I would say, because I used to watch his videos more often, especially in the beginning of the transition, him and his significant other would talk about like the struggle that they would have between like the family content that they were producing and this definitely not family content that was being produced, and what that meant for both of them, you know. But you just have to be receptive to, you know, what's meant for you, basically. Okay. The fourth lesson is your brand can't resonate with everyone. Like, it's impossible. So it's best to find the audience that it does resonate with and stick with it. And the inspiration behind this lesson is actually myself and my agency. So it's clear that I'm a Black millennial woman who's owning this agency. And particularly within the past, I would say within the past year, I've heard like 2 sides of what I'm about to say. So we know, due to systemic oppression and just the way that the world is, even though it's unfortunate, that minority groups have to work twice as hard as their white counterparts to be successful or to even be taken seriously. And that shows up in so many different ways on a professional and personal level, right? So last year, I'm a part of a variety of PR groups. And I think it was last year, or maybe it was the year before. But anyway, the person that was a part of the PR group, a PR veteran, basically, you know, suggested that maybe if your face is on your website, right, delete it. Don't put your face on your website. And I get why she said that, and the reasoning for it, which I said before I said this, it makes sense. And I did take my face off my website for like about a month or so. Mind you, I wasn't really paying attention to the analytics so much, so I don't know how much it impacted, traffic, more clicks, more time spent on my website. I have no idea. But I do know that it bothered me a bit. And even now, at this point, like, I've updated my website, and I've tried to incorporate opportunities to show that we're diverse, right? Because all of my clientele hasn't been Black clients. I have had some other races as well, including white clients. But lately I've been thinking about, okay, what does the future look like, right? Because majority of my clientele is Black or has been a client of color. So I know for me, I'm right now in a position where we turn 3 on Thursday. Yes, we turn 3 on Thursday. And I am not necessarily struggling with who I want to serve, because I'm willing to serve whoever I'm meant to serve, right? So that's not the issue. The issue is more so I find there to be a challenge with the content that I'm producing, and particularly like the messaging that I'm producing, right? And really trying to tap into what my target audience looks like and what they resonate with. I know I have the Black folk, right? But what about the people who aren't Black and who don't resonate with that particular culture? But then there's also like, I'm a Black millennial and I'm very personable and I can be vocal and I have a specific, tone of voice. So I say that to say this: you have to be able to accept who your audience is, one, cater to them, two, and don't be afraid to evolve with them, right? I don't know how my target audience will look within a year, right? The most I can do right now is tap into the current audience that I have and communicate with them, and also be mindful that my target audience lives differently and receives communication from me differently. My target audience on Instagram is different than my target audience on YouTube or Twitter or LinkedIn or Pinterest or Facebook, and that's currently what my agency is working on right now. We are trying to become really solidified in where our audience lives and how we communicate with them. And it's a task. It's a task, especially when you don't have a designated marketing team, and you have a whole bunch of client deliverables and other operational stuff that you're trying to do within your agency. But I encourage you to become as familiar with your target audience as possible, and don't be afraid to communicate with them, and know that just because you're communicating with them doesn't mean you're not communicating with everyone else. Whoever is meant to get the message at the end of the day will get the message, will support you, will invest in you, okay? And then the last lesson is sort of related to like supporting each other and not being afraid to collaborate. It's circulating the Black dollar, and doing that so we can uplift one another and ultimately put each other in positions to not only have better outcomes for the person that we are supporting, but also generations to come. And this was inspired by Robert Smith, who is a billionaire and CEO of Vista Equity Partners. It's a private equity firm. And he is the billionaire who vowed to pay off the student loans for Morehouse College class of 2019. So while we're not billionaires, and I'm not saying you have to pay off someone's student loans, what I am saying, and even as I say it, I am reminding myself to do more of it. We have to support one another. That's the only way that we're going to be able to continue to flourish, And while we have to support one another, again, back to my common about just because you're communicating with one group doesn't mean you're not communicating with the other group. Don't be afraid to stand up when it's necessary and encourage allyship. You know, we need people who systemically are in better positions than us to support us as well. But we have to be the first to cause that cycle to happen. All right. So just to thank you guys so much for tuning in. You're welcome. Thank you for your time. I hope you found this valuable and informational.